Hey, honey, it's your girl Brianna J, and this is Break Free From Yourself podcast. This podcast is my precious baby that is centered around self reflection and self love. It's about a young woman's journey, me, of course, to find inner peace, but also realizing that sometimes she can play a role in holding herself back from that peace. This is going to be a space where I'll be real with y'all, but I'll also be real with myself. Listen, I know I'm not the only one that can hold themselves back from that greatness that they're supposed to be. Maybe y'all will be able to relate and we can get through this journey together. So let's take a walk together, hun. Friends, how many of us have them? Friends, ones we can depend on. Friends, how many of us have them? Friends, before we go any further, let's be friends. Welcome back to another episode of Break Free From Yourself. I am your host, Brianna J. And let's give it up to Houdini for giving us this wonderful theme song for this episode. If you have not guessed, the episode is about friends. But in particular, it's about the journey to finding friendship or finding friends as an adult. Y'all have seen so many movies about friends. You've seen so many TV shows about friends. The frame of reference that I kind of want to use for this is y'all seen Grey's Anatomy. Y'all know Christina. Y'all know Meredith. I was trying to find my Meredith. I was trying to find my Christina. Actually, I'll consider myself to be Meredith because I had a lot of problems. So, yeah, I was looking for my Christina. This journey was on and off literally up when I moved back home and I started going to school locally. I did have a person then, but we will address that person in the next episode. That will be losing that friend. But I remember talking to a current friend that I still have about how I wanted to have a local tribe and just make sure that I have my person. I knew that she had her tribe locally and I was happy for her. But I wanted to have my own tribe because she was no longer in my immediate tribe. I needed my immediate tribe. I came back home thinking that my high school tribe was going to be my tribe, and temporarily it was, but little did I know that life was going to make that disappear. So when it actually disappeared, that's when I decided, oh, I really need to get on this journey because right now, this friendship search is not going the greatest. So I wasn't looking for friends at work because from 2015 to like 2019, I was working in an office with majority women. And the women were not majority, completely women. And I was 19 at the time when I started, and the youngest person was probably 45. So they were more like aunties instead of friends. And that's why I prefer working part-time jobs at restaurants, stores, or whatever, because I was able to be around people who were my age. And so I could kind of find friends there. And actually, I did find an associate when I was working at that job in Outback, but that didn't last long. So, I want to say in 2018 is when I realized that I literally do not have a close by friend, immediate friend. They're all both. I'm saying all like it was multiple. My closest friends were probably an hour and a half away. So yeah, I was kind of going through it. So I decided at this point that I was going to. I low key started working part time job for multiple reasons, but I wanted to start a part time job so I can gain friends. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I did. My first after Outback, I went to this retail store and I found associates. I found people that, we were cool, but we never did anything outside of work. It was literally just we working and we going home. So I never really found that person. I still I don't know. I was just lonely. And I hated that because at that time I was one going through a breakup, then later on I found another boyfriend, but I didn't want him to be my only friend at that time. So I decided to go on a dating website and I decided to go on Facebook and join these Facebook groups to meet friends. And I'm gonna just be honest, Facebook still never found a friend. I don't know why I thought that was gonna work, but literally joining these Facebook groups, I'm just seeing shit. I just see people talk. Sometimes we interact, sometimes we don't, but nothing has come of that. Now, with the dating app, and I call it a dating app because it is a dating app, but it has three versions: dating, business, and friendship. So I joined the friendship side. And with joining that friendship side, it was weird to say the least. It literally felt like I was auditioning myself to women for friends. Some of these women were, although everybody came on this app to look for friends, some of them didn't know how. They didn't know how to speak. The point of the app that I was on, the app is called Bumble. Basically, it's kind of like Tinder. You match with a person, swipe left, right. Once you both match with each other, you have the opportunity to communicate within 24 hours. Once if you don't communicate within that 24 hours, you don't match. Well, you're still matched, but it expires. You don't get a chance to communicate with that person. And I feel like some of the women on there, they wanted you to reach out to them first. And I'm not trying to be your man. I'm not finna come on here trying to be your man. You can't come onto a not relationship, a friendship app and expecting other women to come to you like you would expect a man to come to you. And that was my biggest problem. These women did not know how to communicate. It was like pulling teeth. One girl, I thought we were going to click up, but literally it was just like she was so dry and dead, and it was just like, are you okay? And she would always say she's fine, she's just not that talkative. And I'm like, well, why did you come on here? I know it's weird and new for all of us, but why did you come on here? How do you think you're going to meet friends if you don't interact with people? So, and actually, one girl, I need y'all to clear this up for me. So, anytime I interacted with somebody on the app, I would ask, what are your interests? What are you interested in? Tell me why this ugly chick, let me just put that out there. I asked her what she interested in, and she was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what are you interested in? And she was like, are you asking me if I'm gay? And I'm like, ma'am, do you like acting, shopping, playing games, playing tennis? Like, what are you interested in? And I just didn't respond after she said that because it was just like, clearly, we joined the friendship side. Why would I be asking you what you're interested in? One, I don't care what you're interested in. Because I'm already dating somebody. I I'm just asking you what your interests are. And maybe I could have worded it differently. That would have helped her. But I felt like what are you interested in was a dead giveaway. So yeah. With all of the fall throughs from being on the app, there were three people that I actually communicated with. Sorry. Four people that I communicated with. And we discussed possibly meeting up for lunch, dinner, etc. Three people we actually did something. One person actually made it and we're still friends to this day. Actually, I'm gonna hit her up in a minute because I haven't talked to her in a second. But let's discuss the four people that we interacted with. So the first, we planned to have an outing where we were going to go to an event for my boyfriend. It was a public event, so it was something that everybody could go to. So I invited her, one, because I didn't want to do like dinner or anything. I thought this would be kind of like a fun outing. But she ended up standing me up for that outing. An hour before, she said that her mom got sick. And I was like, okay. So the next time we decided to go to dinner, or no, this was brunch. We went to brunch and she was kind of boring. Um, Not kind of, she was very boring. We talked, we kept up conversation, but I could just tell that this was probably not going to be it. I don't know if she probably felt the same, but in my head, she was just boring. So after that, we probably talked for a couple weeks, but then we stopped communicating. I don't even remember her name. So the next person, I invited her to another outing, or I invited her to the same outing as the first person. And she was actually interested in going to the outing. But a couple hours before, she cancels. And I'm a little mad at the reason why she canceled because she wanted to go skating. I literally have been trying to find me a skating partner because my man don't want to go. So I've been trying to find somebody to go skating with. And literally, I think she was probably in her last year of undergrad. I was in my master's. She tells me is grad night, not grad night, college night, it's Friday night, and college students have a discount or whatever. And so she wanted to do that instead of the event. And I was okay with that. But I mean, where was my invite? I want to skate. There was no invite for me. It was just like, oh, forget you. So we didn't talk that much after that. I think we still follow each other on Snapchat, but I don't even get on there like that. So yeah. Third person. I can't remember if my current friend was the third person or the fourth person. So I'm just going to call her the fourth person because she's the one that actually lasted. Third person. She was cool. We went to dinner at our local Mexican restaurant. First of all, I hate Mexican food, but I let her pick the restaurant because, trying to be nice, trying to not always, because, my friends, they know I am picky. They know I like what I like, and I'm not going to eat everything. They know I don't eat Mexican food like that. If I go to Mexican food, I'm going to get taco salad and fries. So they don't even offer that. But anyways, this girl, we go there. I get there first. Well, first of all, she messages me and she lets me know that she's there. And she has two phones. She messages me on one phone. And we actually weren't supposed to go to that Mexican restaurant. We were supposed to go to a different restaurant. And I was kind of nervous because we never actually talked on the phone. We were messaging through the app until the day of. And she calls me, or no, she's just texting me. And I'm like, is this a guy? Like, am I being catfish? Like, I was literally scared because we had never talked other than through the app Bumble. So the first restaurant we tried to go to was booked. So then we ended up going to the Mexican restaurant. We get there and I don't know why it took her so long to get there, but I got there. They were literally across the street. I got there maybe 10 minutes before she did. And that's why I'm telling you, like, I thought that she was a man because we still had not seen each other. We still had not talked on the phone at that point. And I'm just confused to why we had not talked on the phone at that point to, make sure one another is not a man trying to catfish and, do some things to each other. So I get a table and I text her and let her know I get a table. Tell me why I tell her that I'm at a table and she gets a table too. We're literally sitting diagonally from each other. And I'm like, well, hey, where are you at? And she says, yeah, I'm sitting at a table. I look and she's at a table. She has her drink. And I'm just like, were you not going to say anything? I had already beat you here. Anyways, so we're talking about ourselves, likes, dislikes, and I thought she was a really cool girl. Chopping it up, and I liked her vibe. I did peep that she was kind of like sugar baby-ish, but I wasn't judging. I wasn't mad. I'm like, girl, I kind of like you. But the one point where it kind of took a turn left was she asked what I was looking for in a friend, and I basically said that I was looking for a friend that doesn't have kids. Around this time, literally all my friends had kids now. Um, so I did not need a new friend that had kids. Cause literally all of them that I had kids now. Nothing wrong with that. But and I hope they don't get offended by that. But um I couldn't there was a point where we were relatable and we could relate at before, but now that they have this new layer on in that life, I can't relate to that. So I was looking for a friend where I could relate on that level of being completely free. Um, so I tell her that. And she's like, "Oh, okay." So I ask her, "Do you have any kids?" I probably should have asked that first. She says, "Yes, I have 2 daughters, 3 and 4." And I'm like, "Oh." So after that, I knew that, because her vibe was kind of different after the fact. I knew that, things were not going to work. She was like, "You can hit me up." Basically, she didn't want to talk anymore. And so we left and I never heard from her again. So I deleted Bumble, not immediately after that. I actually went out with my current friend for brunch. She lives in the same city as uh my other friend. Uh, we went to brunch and literally clicked. It was fun. I enjoyed her. She was a vibe, and I appreciate the vibe she was. So out of literally probably 30 women, probably not 30, but several women, four actually went through with trying to move past just talking through Bumble. Three I actually met up with. One made it through. But it still was not my Christina. And actually, back up. I started working other part-time jobs. So I started working at Sally's. I'll say it, I don't care. So the best thing that I will say from working at Sally's was I met not one, not two, but four women that I'm really close to. Um, Two separate times. It was at the beginning of the pandemic. I met two close friends. We hit it off. I don't know how we hit it off, but the job was just so laid back. We hit it off and we remained in touch, even though unfortunately after COVID happened, everybody kind of had to disperse and, make changes in their life to this drastic change that was happening in the world. So unfortunately, our time in person did not last long, but I was very appreciative for the relationships that were built. But and I hate to call them replacements, but I jokingly tell them this. But soon after, when they left, two more women came. Separate times, of course, but two more women came to Sally's and we clicked. This was my brunch click. This was my brunch click. And the crazy thing is, I wasn't expecting to meet either one of these groups of women. It just happened. But I'm grateful because one, they're all different in their own ways, but they match and connect with me. All of them. The new friends that I've met in this coming year, I've met literally I went for years not having friends to meeting five friends within a year. And then it was six because I met another friend um, at my latest part-time job, which I'm no longer there either. I'm low-key tired of working part-time jobs. But those part-time jobs were beneficial because I met friends that I was not expecting to meet. I joined this app to meet friends, and who would have thunk that if I would have just been patient, I wouldn't have to join Facebook groups, I wouldn't have to join Bumble, I wouldn't have to do all this extra work that I was doing to try to find these friendships and relationships that I was looking for. And those were just additional friends because I already had close friends that I had real tight knit relationships with. But it was just the fact that we were not in the same, we weren't local anymore. And so I was looking for local friends. I did meet some had to move away, but I developed relationships as an adult that I was not looking for. And I'm very grateful that they're understanding. I kept looking for this Christina. And I'll say this. It's not a Christina Meredith thing because Christina and Meredith, they're literally up each other's behinds. We don't have to do that. And I've come to the realization that I don't have to have that. I got so used to having that with past friends that that's what I yearned for. But I realized that as an adult, you don't have to have friends where you're all up in each other's spaces 24/7. And I think that's probably where I fell short in previous relationships. So I appreciate these friendships because they respect my boundaries and they look to me to respect theirs. It's not always going to be perfect. We're not always going to get it right, but we try. We're not always going to talk all day every day, but the effort is there and I appreciate that. It took some time to find it. It took journeys. It took a lot of fails, but I'm grateful for finding the friendships that I have in my adulthood. Anyways, y'all remember one thing. Well, this one wasn't really breaking. I guess if I had to think about the habit that I'm breaking out of is expecting a friend to be literally, we don't have to be two peas in a pod to be friends. Changing my expectations for friendships. The fact that I found friends in spaces that I wasn't expecting to find them in, those are the best type of friends to have. So stop putting all your expectations that you have on friendships and relationships. Just be you and expect them to be themselves and meet them where they are. That's this episode of Break Free from Yourself. Thank you for listening. I know y'all didn't forget about Rebel Vision for all your skincare needs. Rebel Vision was created to encourage individuals to embrace self-love by encouraging them to show their body some real body love. We got the body butter, the rose water, the net exfoliators, the black soap, and the liquid black soap. Come and join the Rebel team by following us on Instagram at RBL_VZN and liking our Facebook page, Rebel Vision. To order products for your skincare needs, check out the site www.therebelvision.com. That's www.therebelvzn.com. If you don't already follow my Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, go ahead and do that at _Brianna J. That is _BRIAUNAJ. TikTok is my best friend, so you know you can definitely find me on there. Use any of those platforms to comment and let me know what you think or want to hear on the podcast. Bye, honeys. Thank you for listening to Break Free from Yourself podcast. I hope you enjoyed yourself and come back for another episode.